minutes. The umpires are on the ground. Japan has won the toss and they have elected to bat. The playing 11 for Japan today is led by Kendall Kadawaki Fleming, their talismanic captain. The remainder of the squad for playing 11 consists of Charlie Harahins, Declan Suzuki McComb, Ibrahim Takahashi, Alex Shirai Patmore, Sabaorish Ravichandran, Lachlan Yamamoto Lake, who will partner Kendall Kadawaki Fleming at the top of the order. And they are followed by Makoto Taniyama, Abdus Samad, Abhishek Anand, and Shoma Sugaya Slater. So it's a relatively spin-heavy team with about 4 spinners in the playing 11 today. The Thai playing 11 has Nofon Senomantri, Yandre Kurtzi, Austin Lazarus, who is their captain, Sarawut Maliwan, Chalamwong Chatpaisan, who is their attacking batter at the top, Yotsak Saranonakun, then Sorawat Desunon, Mukesh Thakur, Fanafong Tongsa, Naravid Nantarak, and Akshay Yadav. The Thai team will want to prove a point or two over here. Their coach is a little bit bullish about their chances of snatching a victory today. Japan, in contrast, will be confident, having won all of the games that they have played so far. They had 2 games yesterday which were unfortunately abandoned because of the weather and ground conditions. It had been raining heavily in Sano since Friday evening. But we are back. And as you can see on your screens, it's a beautiful, glorious, sunny day. The players are definitely excited, and so are all the spectators. We've had a few neutral spectators come to the ground today to watch this match, and I believe there are a number of guests expected to arrive during the course of this game as well. Now, back to the proceedings on the ground. Batters ready to take their strike. Kadawaki Fleming will face the first ball, and Yandre Kurtzi appears to be the bowler who will open proceedings for Thailand from the far end. 2 umpires for today's final are Chris Thurgate and umpire Mumtaz. Umpire Mumtaz, a former player for the Japan national team as well. Kendall will want to rectify his relatively below par form in the previous 2 matches. He had been batting well, but then got out 2 catches quite unexpectedly. That is good bounce from the bowler. First ball to start the proceedings. Dot ball. In comes Kurtzi again. A bit of a swing there, beautiful shape on that ball, swung in a little bit late. I wish we had a replay, we could have seen that trajectory. It was sort of aimed just outside leg stump, and it swung quite significantly, and well done by Kadawaki Fleming over there to keep that ball out and get bat onto it. Another bit of late swing by Kurtzi. This time Japan take a single, first runs on the board, first runs off the bat. Contrary to usual practice, it won't be Yamamoto Lake who's opening the batting today with his usual partner, but it will be Abhishek Anand. Abhishek Anand now takes guard for his first delivery. Yantrick Curtsey will continue. There's a bit of a wind blowing around, which is definitely helping with the swing. Abhishek gets a little tickle onto the bat as he nudges it past square leg. A little bit behind that, going towards the fine. Gets a little bit finer over there. Takes a quick single. And to negate the effect of swing, you saw that he did come across his stumps a little bit. That brings Kadawaki Fleming back onto the attack. 2 balls left in this over. Kendall comes down the track. He pushes it into the covers and he takes an easy single over there. Given the way the ball's been swinging, might be a little bit risky to hit big shots or take big risks, I suppose. And they might do some acclimatization over here first, probably get as many runs in singles, doubles if they can. That's a much better delivery by Curtsey. Anand had to jab his back down into the ground just to keep that one out. Well played in the end. That's the end of the first over. Japan are 3 runs for the loss of no wickets. Mukesh Thakur into the attack for Thailand now. He has bowled well throughout this series and has picked up useful wickets at crucial moments in the game. He's also generated a few more chances, some of which haven't really gone to hand or fallen in no man's land over them. But he'll be wanting to try his best again today. So another good delivery brings it back into Kadawaki Fleming. There's a direct hit from the fielders. Abhishek Anand seems to be safe. Umpire Thurgate had a long look at that and eventually decided that was not out. A very quick, risky run. Safely negotiated over there. Good ground fielding on display once again by the Thai fielders. Another quick run taken. Plenty of singles on offer over here as some of the fielders are pretty deep at the edge of that circle. Gaps to be negotiated if you place it properly, which is what Anand seems to have done. A slightly slower delivery by Thakur over there. Kadawaki Fleming gets beaten. Isn't able to time it properly and also has to negotiate with that slightly late in-swing coming into him. But safely protected himself, protected his thumbs, No runs over there, obviously. Lucky not to have got an inside edge onto the stumps or on its way to the keeper. And he follows that up with another safe bat. Japan will want to negotiate the power play overs quite carefully, mixing caution with aggression over here. Speaking of aggression, there he goes for the pull. Well-balanced pull shot there from Kadoaki Fleming. Gets one run as there was protection in the deep for the fielder. That is the end of this over. Japan are now 6 runs for the loss of no wicket after 2 overs. Batsmen having a mini conference over there in the pitch, probably discussing strategies, and Kadoaki Fleming pointing out some areas on the pitch that he wants his colleague to be mindful of. He will retain strike after taking that single off the last over. Yandre Kurtzi will continue from the far end. He has been getting very prodigious swing this morning. Oh, squared him up and split him in half. Huge appeal over there from the bowler and the keeper. Umpire clearly not interested. Given the angle of the camera, it's really difficult to comment on where it actually hit him and whether there may have been an inside edge. And from this end, it did look as if it was high enough to have missed the stumps. The Thai bowler is clearly causing a few problems over here. Both Mukesh Thakur and Kurtzi have been quite relentless so far. Top edge, leading edge over there and taken. First wicket down. Yandre Kurtzi draws first blood in this contest, and as he has done in some of the previous games, he has broken a partnership very early in this power play too. Going back to the ball, it looks like the ball shaped back in and jumped a little bit more than what Anand expected. He tries to nudge it on the square leg side, but gets a leading edge, which then is gobbled up by the fielder running from mid-off. A good catch completed in the end. Thailand pouch one safely. Japan are 1 down with only 6 runs on the board. This is proving to be another tight contest now. And as I mentioned earlier, the Thailand coach has been fairly bullish about their chances versus Japan. He thinks his team can beat the homeboys. New batter in is Declan Suzuki McComb, who is a fantastic all-rounder, terrific in the field, a steady, reliant bowler, and is able to contribute handy runs with the bat too. I'm not sure if he has ever batted this high in the batting order, but I think the thought process behind his promotion would be if he can play a few attacking shots to take advantage of the fielding restrictions in this power play, it might give Japan a much needed boost when it comes to setting up a total over here. He steers it towards point, unfortunately intercepted there by the fielder, who returns it quickly at the bowler's end, thus thwarting any intent that Kadoaki Fleming had of taking a single. Another good ball over there by Kurtzi. Jumps up a little bit again, but safely negotiated by Suzuki McComb. Two balls remaining in this over. Yandre Kurtzi will be wanting to make another important breakthrough. This time he bowls slightly on the leg side. One run after that. Oh, that was the over. My apologies, I miscalculated. So that's the end of the over. Japan are now 8 for 1 after 3 overs. 8 for 1. I don't think they would have dreamt of this scenario when they woke up this morning and made their way towards the ground. They'd be hoping for a much better start. But credit should go to the Thailand bowlers over here. They haven't given any loose deliveries or made major mistakes on the field itself. They have been very, very tight with the bowling, very consistent. The pair of Kurtzi and Mukesh Thakur being hugely important for them over here. This time he goes for a big swing. It's down the leg side, called wide. A bit of a delayed call by the umpire there. Another delivery with a bit of bounce on it. You could see Suzuki McComb there sort of replaying that shot of his, which does give you an indication that it was a little bit higher than what he expected, almost tugged it off from just under his arm. Kadawaki Fleming comes outside his off stump to negate any movement in the air. Exposes his stumps in the process, but I guess he was well aware of the line of that delivery. Calculated risk taking. He will want to make sure that he bats as long as he can. Good piece of fielding, but even better placement from Kadawaki Fleming. Knew the single was on as soon as he hit that ball into that gap, and clear calling from him. No confusion over there between the batters. Big swing again. Ball goes down the leg side. Another wide called. This is one area of the game where Thailand can't afford to be lax. They did very well versus Cook Island the other day and conceded only about 6 to 8 extras in the entire innings. Ooh, this time it cuts the batsman in half and goes through. Not sure if he got an inside edge. They'd be devastated if it was an edge and the keeper couldn't hang on to it. But the general reaction of the players seems that maybe might not have been, but the keeper's reaction tells a different story. This time will be runs off the bat. They tried to go for a second. In the end, settled for just one. Was quickly cut off by fine leg. Scoreboard very, very slowly ticking. Conditions still such that it's not easy for free stroke making. You have to take proper risks. Additional runs off the bat again. Same fine leg region. Same result. 1 run added to the total. End of the over. Japan now 14 for the loss of 1 wicket after 4 overs. We have 2 more overs left in this power play, and these two will want to take advantage of that as much as possible. Kadawaki Fleming's faced 13 deliveries and Suzuki McComb has faced 7 deliveries thus far. At some stage, one of them will decide who becomes the aggressor or the enforcer of this scoring rate here onwards. Kurtzi comes in for his 3rd over. Good decision from the skipper. He has been bowling very well. He has also had the initial breakthrough. They might be hoping he can get them a 2nd wicket over here. Oh, this time the batsman comes down the track, gives him chase, but misses the ball completely. That ball then misses the inside edge and goes to the keeper, who takes a shot at the striker's end in the hope of catching the batsman out of his ground, but unfortunately didn't connect with the stumps. And I presume Kadawaki Fleming was back in his crease on time. This time he drives it towards the off, to the edge of the circle, and gets 1 run comfortably. Suzuki McComb gives him the charge, hits it up in the air and taken. That has been caught wonderfully. It was a steep skyer over there, and they're not easy to catch, these ones. Not to mention the fact that there's been quite a strong gust of wind over there. So Suzuki McComb gives him the charge, aiming to clear long off, but instead gets a very, very high leading edge. And that catch has been taken wonderfully by the Thai fielder over there, confirmation for which we'll receive shortly. Suzuki McComb's brief innings comes to an end. The experiment has not worked for Japan. Kurtzi gets his 2nd. He really has been instrumental in this Thai team. He has bowled exceptionally well throughout. He has kept it consistent. He has swung the ball, and he has got regular breakthroughs in the power play overs. I mean, that is no mean achievement, no mean feat. Now, new batter at the crease, Charlie Hara Hinds, batting at number 4 today. He's got a big responsibility on his shoulders, the most important of which is to keep his captain company for as long as they can. And I suppose if the rules are such that Kadawaki Fleming is supposed to anchor the innings, it'll be down to young Hara Hinds to sort of take the free role over here in trying to accelerate the scoring as best as he can, knowing that there are a few other batters down the order to come. Played away from his body. No run. That's the end of the over. 5 overs gone. Japan are 15 for 2. We have one more over left in this power play. 6 more deliveries for these batters to take advantage of the fielding restrictions. We'll see a change in bowling from this end. It looks like spin will be introduced now. And yes, it is jersey number 17, Nofon Senamontri, the left arm finger spinner, who will come into the attack. He has also bowled very well, apart from the first match in which he bowled a little bit on the shorter side, but then improved against the return fixture against Cook Islands the other day. Kadawaki Fleming on strike here. Was shaping up initially to hit that shot a little bit like a big shot over mid-on, and keepers adjusting the field. That mid-on's now dropped back to the boundary. Kadawaki Fleming goes a little bit square, gets it finer, goes towards fine leg, takes 1 run in the process. Another good throw from the fielder over there, collected by the keeper, broke the stumps. Appeal for a run out, which was turned down. Good run from Hara Hinds. Played straight back to the bowler. That's a good ball and a good sort of response to the ball. Hara Hinds showing some respect there for his compatriot. He's a fellow left-arm spinner too. This time, ooh, that ball just jumped and shot back into the batsman over there. Took Hara Hinds completely by surprise. The skipper Kadawaki Fleming pointing out to the umpire about the vagaries of the pitch and some concerns he may have about that particular spot on the pitch, because that was definitely a bit of an unpredictable bounce, and with the amount of movement, the turn and the bounce on that one, I mean, for a spinner it may not prove to be dangerous, but if a quick bowler was bowling on that with that degree of unpredictability, we won't want it to injure any players out there. We don't want anyone to get hurt, whether it is the players or the fielders. Hara Hinds tries to make room again. The ball follows him as he steps back. Doesn't get to free his arms as much as he would have liked. Conversely, he could have tried to get inside the line of that ball and hit it on the leg stump, which he tries to do this time, but then misses that ball in the process, which then is gathered neatly by the keeper. That is the end of Senamontli's over. The score is now 16 for 2. Just 1 run coming off that over from Senamontri. It'll be the end of the power play. 6 overs gone now. The field will naturally spread out, but given how difficult it is out there to bat at the moment, I wonder if Thailand might still keep a few fielders within the circle in order to take a few catches and restrict the batters from taking any free runs. There'll be a change of bowler at the far end. Yandre Kurtzi replaced by another seamer. This time it is Nara with Nantarak. A single to start that over, full length delivery outside of off. Kadawaki Fleming drives it towards long off and collects 1 run. No particular risk in that shot. It was played nicely along the ground. A little bit on the shorter side and towards leg. Arahins gives it a swing, and as the ball trickles to the backward square leg, they complete another single. So this one's fired in pretty quick. Collected by the fielder, and the return throw was excellent as well. So far, the Thai team have got only 3 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. They've kept 6 within the circle. Got a short third man. We've got a point, cover, mid-off. Oh, bowled him! Nantarak strikes. What a dismissal, and what a time for them to make this breakthrough yet. These two were consolidating quite well and building a partnership, and in comes Nantarak and bowls one that sort of tails and angles into the stumps, misses the shot completely. Harahins not able to get any contact on that delivery and loses his middle stump in the process. Japan are now 3 down with the score reading 19. Definitely not a position they would have wanted to be in. That dismissal now brings Sabaorish Ravichandran to the wicket. He will be joining his captain. And for Japan, the rebuilding process will start again. It's going to be a little bit tough for them out there. Batting conditions are not exactly as good as what they would have liked. You still got to hang in there. You still got to maintain those wickets, because one of the last things they'd want is to be all out once again before the 20 overs are complete. We are only in the 7th over now. There aren't that many runs on the board, and the 3 wickets don't help their matter. Right, Ravichandran to face his first ball. Nantarak comes in. Bowls another quick ball. That slingy action of his generating sufficient pace off this pitch. Beats Ravichandran on the outside edge. This time he gets the ball to curl back into the batter. Ravichandran plays it safely. That's the end of the over. After 7 overs, the score is 19 for 3. Japan in a very precarious position. Few changes being made to the field. These players know that Ravichandran likes to hit the big shots, favors the mid-wicket region. And I think with Kadawaki Fleming on strike, they just wanted to have extra bit of protection in the fine leg area, which is where he swept that ball and got 2 runs in the process. Okay, the field's a bit spread out now. We've got 4 in the circle, 5 outside as per regulations. So sweeper cover, we've got a long off, we've got a long on, deep backward square leg and deep mid wicket. Kadawaki Fleming sweeps again, gets 1 for his effort. I suppose the Thai team will be happy with this. They don't mind giving away the singles as long as they're not conceding any boundaries. An interesting tidbit over here is that we have gone 7.5 overs so far in this match, and we haven't had a boundary yet. Let's see if Ravichandran can change that equation. A few more changes happening in the field. Slit coming into place. Lazarus sends the fine leg back to a deeper position, and long off comes into the circle. Played cautiously there by Ravichandran, just dabs it onto the offside and takes a very easy single. Can he join the ranks and take another breakthrough over here for Thailand? This time he hits it on the pad, but it looks like it may have been outside leg and off, and that crosses the boundary. Let's see what the signal is. Leg byes. Leg byes given by the umpire. So technically not a boundary off the bat, but yet a boundary of runs. And yeah, it did look as if it struck him outside off. This time is driven a little bit straighter towards mid-on, no run. That should be the end of the over. Japan 27 for 3 after 8. Nantarak back into the attack. Oh, beats him again on the outside. very sort of zippy bowler off the pitch, probably courtesy of his action. Looks like as if he gets it to skid off the pitch over there. And he comes again. This time it's a big hit down the ground. Ravichandran going over the top of mid-off, and first boundary off the bat. Could this be the beginning of a few free scoring shots for Japan now? Bit of a straightish delivery. Ravichandran hits it on the up, gets it over mid-off's head, and it goes scudding through across the boundary rope. 4 runs. Japan will breathe a little sigh of relief over here. They'd like to get a few more of those boundaries now, boost that scoring rate a little bit. Currently the run rate sitting at about 3.7. Appears as if Courtesy had a little slip over there where he was fielding a point, and he's struggling a little bit. I don't know if he's pulled a muscle or something. Yeah, it does seem to be struggling a little bit after that little slip. Oh, beautifully driven straight down the ground, well intercepted by the bowler, who then throws it at the keeper ends. And as the keeper is unable to gather that clearly, ends up conceding an overthrow. Not what they would have wanted. Japan will gleefully accept that extra run. It was a lovely straight drive by Kadawaki Fleming that beautifully played on the up and well fielded by the bowler too. This time it's placed towards long on by Ravichandran. A lot of timing on this play over there. Took his time, watched the ball carefully, and just patted it towards mid-on. Completed an easy single. This time Kadawaki Fleming goes onto the charge. Hits it towards square leg, and they come back for 2. A very good brace of runs, quickly run. Well played. 9 overs gone, 36 for 3. That run rate now for the first time has gone up to 4 runs per over. Japan slowly rebuilding over here after being shocked and rocked by 3 early wickets. Yandere Courtesy claiming 2 of those, and Nantarak claiming 1 in his first over. In this pitch it appears that about 100-120 might be a par score. Anything beyond 120 might be a little bit difficult to chase. A little more adjustments taking place in the field. Sanamantri to continue. Oh, sorry, change in bowling. Sarawat Maliwan comes into the attack now. He's another left-arm spinner. the right-hand, left-hand combination of Kadawaki Fleming and Ravichandran clearly having an impact on these field placings, and the Thai players taking that time to adjust. This obviously may cause a little bit of a delay in sticking to the run rate, the over rates, and looks like there will be yet another change in the fielding. But this is an area of the game where the captains need to really step their game up, and the fielders need to be alert as to who goes on strike and preempt that and make changes quickly so that it doesn't hold the game up for too long. Kadawaki Fleming pulls that towards mid-wicket, gets 1 run in the process. A better ball over there to Ravichandran. Hurried him up a little bit into that stroke. Not able to get it away where he would have wanted it to. Gets a dot ball. This time he comes across the wickets and just tries to paddle that back behind the keeper, who gives chase to the ball. Batters complete 1 run in the process. They complete 2nd, and Kadawaki Fleming is off for the 3rd, which he completes with plenty of time to spare. That is a clever bit of batting. Ravichandran taking full advantage of the pace of the ball and the gap behind the keeper, and quick running between the wicket by this pair to complete 3 runs. That will be a huge boost to the run rate for now. Kadawaki Fleming goes big this time, hits it towards deep square leg. But it's an easy single. Last ball of this over coming up. Has been a relatively productive over. Wide ball given by the umpire. An extra delivery, extra runs. So far 8 overs have come of 5 legal deliveries. We've got one more ball left. Reverse swept, and 1 more added to the total. That is the end of the 10th over. We are at the halfway mark. Japan are 3 wickets down, and they have got 45 runs on the board. We will have a drinks break, probably a couple of minutes for the fielders and the batters to rehydrate. I'd like to take that opportunity to welcome all of you viewers again. Thank you for joining us today for this live telecast of today's final from the Sano International Cricket Ground. We are grateful for your support and your patronage. If you haven't subscribed to the JCA channel yet, please do so. They always stream live matches, whether it is the Japan Premier League or the Japan Cricket League or the international commitments or the Women's Premier League as well. We like bringing you cricket content, and we like having your support. It helps us a lot. It helps us with viewership numbers. It helps us know how many people watch these streams, and it generally gives us a good feeling knowing that there are people out there in the world who like watching cricket held in Japan. I also want to mention the team partners, MKI and Mizuno, for their extensive support, and also to various other supporters and patrons and sponsors locally over here in Sano. Today is shaping to be a beautiful sunny day, and I I've been informed that there will be a few people who are visiting the ground to watch this match, who are guests of various sponsors and supporters. There are a few people who have traveled all the way from Tokyo and Osaka to watch this match as well. So I'm thankful for them to take the time out of their calendars to come over here and watch this game. And hopefully we can gradually, over a period of time, increase the viewership numbers, not just online, but via different spectators on the ground. Now, play will resume soon. The drinks break has been done. And Sano is reintroduced into the attack. He will continue from the far end this time. Kadawaki Fleming will be facing him. He's batting at 19 of 30 deliveries. He's been the backbone of this batting lineup for a long time, and today appears to be no different. He will want to stay as long as he can and ensure that he sort of shepherds this inning towards a respectable total. He has an able supporter in Ravichandran at the other end. He goes beautifully down the track, hits it high and handsome for a 6, a glorious 6, the first one of this innings. And it's something the Japan team desperately needed. An injection of runs over here. Classic technique coming down to the spinner and lofts him high and straight over mid-on. Actually past long on too. He had no chance of getting to that one. Japan crosses 50 runs in the process. Oh, this time Senamanthri bowls a much better delivery and has Kadawaki Fleming in all sorts of tangles, but he safely negotiated that and he's taken one more run. 9 runs of this over so far, 2 more deliveries to come. Flick of the wrist from Ravichandran over there, majestically done, takes a single. Tries to go big down the ground again, misses the ball completely. Looks like it's hit him in the midriff. That's the end of the over. 55 for 3 after 11 overs. A slightly more expensive over from Thailand this time. Japan clearly intending to up the scoring rate from here on. The current run rate is at 5 per over. They'll definitely want it to get to as close to 6.5, maybe 7 if they can. It's a tall order. Can be done, but it's not going to be easy, especially on this track. Swept again. One more run added to the total. Leg bye is given. The new bowler is Fanufong Tongsa. In the first game, he was a little guilty of bowling on the shorter side and got smacked by Thomas Perima from the Cook Islands. Ravichandran this time giving the charge and hits it into the gap between extra cover and long off and gets a boundary for his effort. Gave the bowler the charge, hit it in the gap, perfectly executed, and gets 4 runs. 4 very, very valuable runs for the Japan team over here. Tries to repeat that shot again, gets it along the ground, but straight to long off this time. However, as it hadn't been hit aerially, no risks in that one. He was in full control of that drive. Gets 1 more run for his team. Tongs are conceding 7 so far from 4 deliveries. Reverse swept by Kadawaki Fleming. It takes a very quick single. Ravichandran running to the danger end over there, but manages to put in a dive and get home relatively safely. One more ball left. Let's see if he gives the bowler the charge once again. Tries to get another boundary in the process. Run up cut short. Fielder coming in from the deep into the circle at point. Maybe in an attempt to try and cut off the single. I'd have preferred that one to be somewhere near the boundary. This time he pulls it towards deep square leg, gets 1 run. End of the over, and Ravichandran will retain strike. That's 12 overs gone. Japan now 64 for 3 runs, and that run rate's looking a little bit healthier. 5.3 at the moment. Projected score, if proceedings go as they are, is likely to be 107. I think Japan will want a little cushion beyond that. They might definitely want an extra 15 runs and push that score past 120, 125, just to put that game beyond Thailand's reach. Big shout for a caught behind. For stumping. No dice. Umpire says not out. Sano continues. This is his 4th over. He's conceded 15 of 3. Ravichandran gives himself room and hits that over extra cover. He thinks about taking 2, but sensibly sent back by Kadawaki Fleming. Hit high and mighty, and that goes for a big 6 over long on. Kadawaki Fleming batting beautifully over here, has bided his time. He's seen the difficult phase of the match initially, made sure that he stuck around the ground, and now he's reaping rewards for his patience. Uses his feet to come to the pitch of the ball, judges the length perfectly, and with a big swing of the bat, sends that soaring over long on. Goes for a reverse sweep this time, almost a switch hit, get a top edge over there. Ball trickles down to fine leg and fielded by the fielder over there, restricting the batters to just 1 run. dead batted there by Ravichandran, who wasn't interested in doing anything cavalier, played the ball on its merit. This time he pushes it to the offside and gets a quick single. Comfortably made his ground in the end. That's the end of the 13th over. Japan now 73 for 3. Oh, what a tragedy. What a tragedy. Ravichandran run out against the run of play. I mean, this pair was going so well. He steers it towards there, signals to his partner to return, who kept running, and Ravichandran then eventually sacrificing his wicket over there. This was completely unnecessary at this stage of the game. These two were batting so well and were looked set to take Japan to a very respectable score. I mean, even though he started that run, he was very quick in indicating to his partner that there was no run in there, but seeing that Kadawaki Fleming continued to run down the track, he decided to sacrifice his wicket instead, knowing that Kadawaki Fleming has been batting very well and appears to be in good nick today. Lachlan Yamamoto Lake comes to the crease. This is Japan's usually regular opening batting partnership. And need I remind viewers and listeners that these two also hold the world record for the highest opening batting partnership in a T20 international for the men's teams. Yamamoto Lake to take strike now. Fanufong Tongsa will continue his over. Yamamoto Lake goes for a reverse sweep and misses his leg stump. He's played all over that delivery and in the process has gotten out bowled. As is the often case, one brings two. The Ravichandran run out was completely unnecessary and avoidable, and now that wicket has led to the fall of yet another wicket. After that phase of rebuilding, this is not what Japan would have wanted. They are now 5 down. Kadawaki Fleming will now be joined by Ibi Takahashi and with Shirai Patmore down the line. This is the second last recognized batting pair. Kadawaki Fleming having a chat with the newcomer, just probably telling him to take it a little bit easy and not do anything cavalier. Oh my God! He tried to defend that ball and it just lost the bails. That ball turned, it bounced a little bit and just hit the top of the off stump. A very classic leg spinner's dismissal, that one. The young man must be absolutely jubilant at achieving what he has. This is the third wicket to fall in this over. It started with A completely unnecessary run out where Ravichandran sacrificed his wicket. Then there was a single. Yamamoto leg got bowled after that, and immediately first ball he gets Takahashi. Japan now in dire straits, 75 for 6. The experienced player in Shirai Patmore will now join Kadawaki Fleming at the crease, and he will try to not only avoid this hat-trick but also avoid Japan any further embarrassment. The Thai players, on the other hand, will be absolutely pumped and jubilant at seeing what they have achieved over here. Gets a single to get off the mark. He'll be relieved by that. Probably happy to be at the other end too, and let his captain take the heat for a moment. Well played there by Kendall. Just the length of the ball, rocked back and pulled it towards mid-wicket for one more run. And that should be the end of the over. He will retain strike. Japan now 76 for 6 after 14 overs. They'll need to consolidate for at least a couple of overs over here and not take any significant risks. Thailand, on the other hand, will want to keep things as tight and economical as they can, just to force the batters to take a few risks if they want to score runs. This is like a tactical game now. It's all about strategy, and it's all about which team blinks first. Very interesting juncture in the match. Just when things looked like were settling in Japan's favor quite sensibly and favorably well, from out of nowhere, 3 wickets fell within the space of 6 deliveries. Oh dear Lord, oh dear Lord. Kadawaki Fleming has gotten a top edge, and in trying to cut that past point, has just managed to send that ball edging through to gully. Mukesh Thakur strikes. He has provided the team yet another breakthrough. He's got the prized wicket of the Japan captain, and this is a big dent, big blow for them. Japan now 76 for 7. There was a ball that sat up short and wide outside of off stump. It was literally begging to be hit. Kadawaki Fleming obliged. I think he probably didn't expect it to bounce as much as it did, or maybe he got there a little bit, a fraction of a second later than he needed to. But whatever the case was, he got an outside edge to that, and it went straight into the hands of that deep gully patrolling at the edge of the circle. Very clever field placement over there by the Thai team. Conventionally, you don't see that sort of placement this late in the innings. You might maybe get a slip, or you might get a conventional point or gully, but not a deep gully like that. New player is Makoto Taniyama, who chips that ball aerially onto the leg side and scampers for 2 runs, a very well 2 runs. Taniyama was player of the match in their game versus Cook Islands the other day. He scored a very valuable 10 runs in a low scoring game and picked up 3 or 4 wickets. Deservedly the player of the match in that game. He'll be hoping to repeat his performance today too. Although at this stage, he'll probably need to contribute a little bit more with the bat for Japan to get to a total that they can defend. I do believe that on this pitch, Japan should be able to defend a score of 90-95. But again, funny things happen in sport. Two dot balls from Mukesh Thakur adds to the pressure on the Japanese team. Shirai Patmore, who's the more experienced batter, he's at the non-strikers end now. Taniyama getting an outside edge, decides against a run as there's a fielder lurking close by. Oh, hits it straight. Well fielded there by the bowler. Luckily it was a bounce off the ground rather than a catch. But what an eventful 2 overs this has been for Thailand. They have managed to prize out 4 Japanese wickets. And 2 of them are big names, Ravichandran and Kadawaki Fleming. Then they got Yamamoto Lake first ball actually. Yes, they got Yamamoto Lake first ball, and then they got Takahashi first ball as well. Kongsa returns. It's considered a single of the first delivery. Lovely square drive there by Taniyama. Doesn't get any run for his effort though. He's got down, lowered his body, lowered his center of gravity, got to the pitch of the ball and timed it lovely over there, but straight to the fielder. This time he rocks back, rides the bounce and plays it on the offside quite comfortably. He's looking quite settled out there. It's 1 run for his effort. 1 run added to Japan's total over here. They'll need as many runs as they can. They've now got to 80 runs. The next target should be 100. Shirai Patmore goes for the sweep, plays it beautifully into the gap for 4 runs. Welcome runs for Japan. That was such a wonderfully played shot. He got down on one knee, timed the ball properly and placed it even better. It's a beautiful little sweep shot over there, or a sweep pull. And after a few seconds delay, the ball has been retrieved by the fielders. For a while I thought maybe the ball might have been lost, but now it's back in play again. Welcome runs over here. His teammates will want him to continue right till the end. Tries to repeat that shot again, goes a little bit fine this time and manages to get only 1 run. Wide call by the umpire. 2 extra runs to the total and 1 extra for the delivery. wrong side, back at the top of his mark, and he comes again. This time Taniyama plays towards the square leg. Fielder comes in from the deep, picks it up, restricts the batsman to just one. End of the over. (86 for 7) the score. Projected run rate at this stage of the game is 108. This partnership is now worth 10 runs off 11 deliveries. Shirai Patmore has scored 7 of 4 with 1 boundary, and Taniyama scored 4 of 8. Mukesh Thakur will come in for his last over. Attempted cut by Taniyama, big swipe over there, doesn't make contact with the ball, which flows through under the bat into the hands of the keeper. Dot ball to begin this over. Mukesh Thakur has now bowled 3 overs for only 11 runs and gotten 1 wicket. And what a wicket to have as well. That of Kendall Kadawaki Fleming, who was batting so well at that stage and looked set to shepherd this innings towards a very respectable score. And he has derailed Japan's plans. Now this is a repeat of the first and second deliveries. 3 balls gone. Just a touch outside of off stump. Taniyama tries to cut it, hasn't been able to make contact. 3 dot balls on the trot. Definitely adding to the pressure over here. We can see Shirai Patmore having a chat with Taniyama, probably giving him some advice as to what he's supposed to do. Maybe just telling him, look, just get a single, don't try to hit for a big shot, get me on strike. Gets a full toss which he hits towards mid-wicket. Gets 1 run, and this brings Shirai Patmore on strike now. Down the ground by Shirai Patmore. Taniyama runs the first one quickly. He's willing to take a second. His partner not interested, who's ambling along to the non-striker's end, which probably is a good decision because the fielder from long off came swooping in very quickly. I must say these Thai fielders are really good when it comes to their ground coverage. They're very athletic. They're able to cover big distances, and so far today they have taken their catches as well. They have already gotten a run out, and their ground fielding has been spot on. Yeah, another dot ball by Mukesh. His final ball of this innings coming up. He'll be wanting to make another breakthrough, get 1 more wicket for his team, 1 more wicket to his tally. Taniyama hits it into the ground on the offside, not timed as well as he would have liked it, but manages to get 1 run, which is what's important for them at this stage. And that brings Japan's score tally to 90. 90 for 7 at the end of 17 overs. 3 more overs left. They'll be wanting to add another 20-25 runs to this mix and put the game beyond Thailand's reach. Lovely shot there by Taniyama. That's racing towards the boundary and beats the fielder to get there. 4 runs. A wonderful, wonderful square drive from Taniyama. He's greeted Maliwan with a 4 of his first ball. There was nothing wrong in the delivery ball by Maliwan. It was just very well played by Taniyama. Gave himself just that little bit of room, got to the pitch of the ball and brought his back down with perfect timing and placed it with just the perfect angle. This time round he gets a straightish delivery which he plays on the onside. Doesn't get a run for his effort. Taniyama once again contributing with handy runs lower down the order over here. This time he gets a leading edge. Probably will get it past the fielder. Yeah, it drops safely. He gets 1 more run. If that fielder had been about 3 steps behind, he might have made it to end. Well, again, whether he would have completed the catch or not is a different issue altogether, but at least he would have been in a position to attempt that. But given how close he was, I think that was a fairly safe chip. Now, Shirai Patmore is on the strike now. Maliwan will continue. Shirai Patmore shapes to hit a reverse sweep, gets it fine, gets it past that fielder at the ring. They're looking for a second. But once again, the good fielding that we have seen all morning comes into effect and restricts the batters to only 1 run. Japan now 96 for 7. Taniyama goes for a big swing, big swing, misses the ball completely. Final delivery of this over coming up. What's Maliwan got in store? Bowls a quickish delivery over here, doesn't give him the room. Taniyama has to play it straight, which he does competently, but does not get any run. That's the end of the 18th over. Japan are now 96 for 7. 12 more deliveries left. Yandre Kurtzi comes in for his final over. Can he get the breakthrough? Much needed breakthrough for Thailand. Calm heads prevail over there, telling the fielder not to throw it in. They don't want any overthrows at this stage. That was patted to mid-wicket by Shirai Patmore. A straightish delivery from Kurtzi. He'll use all of his experience over here to see what he can do for his team. This time it's been driven on the offside. Fielder fumbles a little bit. Batters end up with 2 runs. Japan now 98 for 7. They're inching closer to the 100-run mark, and they'll want to get an extra 10-15 runs beyond that too. Current run rate is at 5.35 and projected score is 107. This time it's been lobbed up in the air, up towards long on, who comes in from the boundary, picks it up and restricts the scoring to just 1 run. Kurtzi will come left arm round to the wicket to Taniyama. He's making a few adjustments to his field. Oh, he produces a corker of a delivery, beats Taniyama on the inside edge, but he's heading down the leg style as it hits his pads. An appeal for LBW has been turned down. One more run added to the total, and that is 100 up for Japan. A crucial milestone in this innings. They looked set comfortably earlier on to get to 100 runs, maybe a couple of overs earlier, but those 4 quick wickets just derailed that effort. This time a lofted on drive. Tanyama runs in for the second. That is such a quickly scampered brace of runs. The throw also a little bit off target, but I don't think the fielder could have done much under those circumstances. The running from Tanyama was just too good. He knew he would be running towards the danger end. Completed that first one very, very quickly and made it safely at the end. Shirai Patmore hits this one again, pulls it, gets a top edge, and that has been taken by the leg side fielder. Curtsey strikes, and he gets the important wicket of Shirai Patmore, who had scored 14 runs of 10 deliveries so far. Japan now 8 wickets down. That will also be the end of the over. They scored 102 for 8. Curtsey finishes his spell with, check out these figures, 4 overs, 10 runs and 3 wickets. That is phenomenal bowling. The new batter will be Shoma Sugaya Slater, but as it's the end of the over, it will be Taniyama who will be facing the final over now. Nara with Nantarak comes into the attack with his zippy action. Let's see what he can do. Thailand will want to shut out this innings and get all 10 Japanese wickets. Taniyama goes for the scoop, ramp. I don't know what the shot is called nowadays. There's so many different names. Manages to get a single. A very high risk shot. Doesn't get it where he wants it. It just lobs up in the air, and the fielder chasing from point doesn't get to it on time. 1 run added to Japan's total. It's 103 for 8. Sugaya Slater might want to use the long handle over here, maximize his height, his reach, and see what he can do. Gets 1 run. Two balls down, 4 to go. Taniyama on strike. He's hit 1 boundary so far. Can he get a second one in? Gives himself room, hoiks it towards the leg side. Will get to the fielder, completes 1 more run. Japan 105 for 8. Three more deliveries left. Big hoik, misses the ball completely. Dot ball. No pressure there on the batter whatsoever. I think they've completed their primary objective of getting past 100. I think these Japanese boys believe that they can defend the score. It's not been easy conditions whatsoever. Comes in Nantarak, intercepts the ball off his own bowling, kicks it back to the striker's end. I think he's hit the batter over there. Apologizes. Little rush of blood for the young bowler. I mean, yeah, well, we do like to see a little bit of theatre on the field. We don't want to see any players getting injured over there if it can be avoided. Big hoik again by Sugaya Slater. Gets a toe end of the bat, goes towards point or gully, and gets 1 more run. That is the end of the innings. A single to complete the 20th over. Japan 106 for 8. Oh, the umpire's in conversation about something with the fielders, and the players are off. So that is the end of the innings. Japan have made 106 for 8, probably about 15 to 20 runs short of what they would have wanted to get initially. Their innings was rocked by 3 wickets at the top of the order within the power play, after which they were sort of stabilized to a certain extent by the partnership of Ravichandran and Kadawaki Fleming, who did well to steady the ship a little bit, and they managed to put on at least 54 runs for that partnership over there. And then there was another dramatic collapse where they lost 4 wickets within the space of 3 runs. That probably dented their chances quite a lot. But I think they're still in a position where this could be a winning total for them. There will be a 15-minute break before play resumes. Japan will come firing on all cylinders to defend this total. Thailand will have to come up with a strategy how to negate Japan's excellent bowling and even better fielding lineup over here. Thank you for being with us all this while. It has been a pleasure calling the first innings. We'll be back shortly when the second innings resumes. Until then, take care. Welcome back, everybody. This is your commentator for the day, Sergei Parker, taking you through to the proceedings and this run chase by the Thai team. Japan have scored 106 for 8 in their innings. They were set probably on course to score a few more, but 4 quick wickets within the space of 7 deliveries derailed that effort. Thailand will be very pleased with the way they have performed today, and for restricting Japan to under 110. They will begin their run chase shortly. It will need a mix of caution and well played shots into the gaps rather than a reliance on big boundaries and sixes. Japan weren't able to hit many of those either, partly due to consistent bowling from the Thai bowlers and partly due to the conditions that were available. The umpires signaling to each other, making sure everybody is ready. This will be the first over of this run chase. First ball coming your way. Charlie Hara-Hinds opening the proceedings from the far end. In he comes, bowls a beautiful line and length that he normally does. And so the second, played uppishly in the air. The Thai opening partnership is Akshay Yadav, who is on strike, and Chalamwong Chatpaisan, who is at the non-strikers end. He's an enterprising young attacking opener. Hara-Hinds gets this one to bounce a little bit and turn away as well, takes the batter by surprise, as well as the keeper by the looks of it. Buys given over them. Thailand opened their account. As we saw earlier today, this pitch is not easy to bat on. There have been a few deliveries that have bounced and turned sharply. This has been played well by Chalamwong Chatpaisan. He's slapped that into the covers. No runs. 4 deliveries gone. He's more likely to take the aggressive role, whereas Yadav is more likely to play conservative and ensure that he holds one end up. Japan have about 5 spin bowlers in their ranks today, and I'm fairly certain that they will be deployed to their maximum potential to take advantage of these conditions over here. We may get a couple of overs of pace bowled by Sugaya Slater and Suzuki Macomb, but I think the bulk of the bowling will be done by the spinners. Long on comes into the circle. A lovely loopy delivery that leads the batsman again. End of the over. Apart from the bye, this has been a wonderful over bowled by Hara-Hinds. A maiden against his name. Thai scored 1 for no loss after 1 over. Shoma Sugaya Slater will continue proceedings from the pavilion end. We've got a bit of a festive atmosphere at the ground today. There's a jazz band on site playing live music, keeping the patrons amused and entertained in between the entertainment that's unfolding on the pitch. It's been a good turnover so far. Turnout, I mean, even though the people aren't sat on the seats in the stands, there are a few people under the shade over here, under the tents, near the trees, in the tea room. Sugaya Slater starts with a wide one. Not called wide by the umpire, but it was a wide-ish delivery. May have been just inside that tram line as it goes even further wider as it passes the stumps. Yadav on strike. Pushes it towards point. Chalamwong up to the challenge over there and takes a very, very quick single. Seems like he was the one who called for that run and got there safely. The fielder at point was rather deep and Chatpai-san took advantage of that. Who cut the batsman in half over there. In-seaming delivery. Hits the deck, gets a bit of bounce. Sugaya Slater is a tall bowler, is able to extract a little bit more bounce off the surface and was able to get that ball to come back into the batter as well. He was unable to play it off his bat. Now, what will he do in response? Is he likely to give the charge to the bowler over here? Now, plays it sedately from his ground itself. Doesn't do anything cavalier. He's probably had his coach have a chat with him and give instructions to these two as to how to go about approaching this run chase. Very good bowling from Sugaya Slater, not giving the batter a lot of room. Chatpai-san known to be able to take advantage of deliveries that are on the wider side. He's then able to free his arms quite well. Might take a leaf out of Japan's book over here and bide his time, allow 2-3 overs to go by before he starts to pull out the riskier shots. Bowled him! First blood drawn by Sugaya Slater, keeps it in the channel. Chatpai-san goes for a swing, misses the ball completely, the angle of the delivery and that little seam movement, making sure that it disturbs the stumps over there. New batter on strike is Sorawat Desunyon. It comes in at the fall of the first wicket. Yadav taking a single of the first ball of Harahin's over. Good ball once again, not giving the batter the width that he was looking for. Keeps it at a good line and pulls it a little bit shorter that time. This time bowls it a lot more fuller, and it goes straight through to the keeper, who does a wonderful job of collecting that ball behind the stumps. He goes for an expansive drive, misses the ball completely. Not able to judge the bounce off this pitch. Another dot ball. Plays it into the offside. Yet another dot ball. No runs. The Japanese bowlers keeping it very neat and tidy over here. And the fielders on the offside like a pack of lions on the prowl. Got a very packed 5 fielders out there, none of them on the boundary, all of them inside the circle. The end of the third over. Thailand are 1 down for only 3 runs on the board. Sorry, 4 runs on the board. Dot ball to begin Shoma Sugaya's latest second over. In he comes again, bowls at fullish length. Crisp little on drive over there. 1 run added to the tally. Good ball. Shows a much better ball than the eventual outcome that we have seen over here. The batter just tried to defend that one, and it lobs onto the leg side where the fielder was a little bit deep. Non-striker taking advantage of that, calling for a run and getting there comfortably. Sugaya Slater now back over the top of his mark, comes in, delivers that beautiful straight ball, played defensively over there by Yadav. Defensively played yet again, just pats it over there onto the mid-on, gets 1 more run. Yadav playing a rather safe innings over here. He'll need either one of his partners or perhaps himself later on to step on the accelerator a little bit because they're trailing the required run rate by a considerable margin. There we go, and just on cue, Desugnon tries to hit that ball hard past the bowler, whom he manages to avoid, but then has been fielded at the edge of the circle by Suzuki McComb, who came running in from mid-on. Restricts the batters to just one run. That will be the end of the over. Thailand now 8 runs for 1 wicket after 4 overs. They'll need to get on with this run chase over here. The current run rate is 2 runs per over. Required run rate has climbed up to 6.2 runs per over. Big swipe over there from Big swipe over there from Desugnon. Gets 1 run to long on. Didn't involve a lot of risk, kept it along the ground. Brings Yadav on strike now. Yadav goes into the offside, manages to just get it past that fielder at extra cover, who puts in an effort, diving effort into stop that delivery, stop that shot. Same fielder now is in the slips. Arahins bowls it onto the offside, gives it a little bit of flight. Yadav riding the bounce on that one. Desugnon riding the bounce on that one and manages to get it into extra cover region for 1 run. Left on the merit of line, and I think the batter was sort of confident that the ball would carry over the top of the stumps. This time round bowled a little bit fuller, tries to just push it away onto the offside, wasn't able to make any connection. Fielder gathers it cleanly. A dot ball. Pressure building over here on the Thai team. That's the release shot coming through, gets it past extra cover. The ball's rushing towards the boundary, but a slow, sluggish outfield slows down the ball, which is then fielded very well by the fielders at extra cover and mid-off. Managed to restrict the batters just to 2 runs. Thailand now 13 for 1 after 5 overs. Change in bowling at the pavilion end. Sugar Slater has ended his spell. Abdus Samad comes into the attack. Is usually a very, very economical bowler. Bowls a very consistent line in length and has an excellent control. 2 dot balls to begin his over now. He'll be wanting to make a few inroads into this batting lineup and add a couple more wickets to his tally. Oh, lovely delivery over there. This time it hits straight down the ground. Well, straight down the ground as in straight towards mid-off. Batters get a single. Two deliveries left in this power play. Two more balls before the fielding restrictions come off. Oh, that's beautifully bowled by Samad again. He's managed to beat the batsman outside his edge. Same thing with this one. This ball just stayed a little bit low. It was bowled much wider than the previous one. Yadav sort of anticipating the ball to be a little bit more closer to the stumps, played inside the line. Yeah, and there was daylight between bat and ball over there as it spun past even more and just stayed low. Good job over there by Shirai Patmore to be able to collect it, especially as it didn't bounce as much as expected. Now, change in bowling at the far end. Arahins finishes his spell, and it will be Sabawarish Ravichandran. Ravichandran usually bowls a mix of leg spin and googlies, often as a slightly fastish clip. Has been quite successful. And he's an excellent fielder to boot too. And he comes again amidst a flurry of activity as he has a fairly rapid action. Slog swept over there by Desungnion, and that goes past the boundary for a huge six. Probably his way of welcoming Ravichandran into the attack. That is a fantastic shot. Not a lot of power behind it, but excellent timing. Goes for the sweep again, and this time he manages to get the fielder. What an excellent catch over there. Fantastic catch, low onto the ground. It looks like that is Ibi Takahashi who has taken that catch. There we see the replay. He goes for the sweep, slog sweep again, and that is just phenomenal catching close up. Breakthrough for Ravichandran, breakthrough for Japan. If the Thai camp were in any optimistic mood after that six, that they're suddenly dispirited now by the fall of that wicket. They've lost their second. They've got only 20 runs on the board. They need another 87 runs to win this match. The fielder who took the catch is reported to be Abdul Samad, who had just finished his over from this end and has taken a wonderful catch over there. He will be happy with that effort. His team will be ecstatic. Yandre Kurtzi, the elder statesman of this team, the most experienced player in their lineup. He's now at the crease. He takes guard. He'll be facing Ravichandran, who is as prolific as any when it comes to breaking partnerships. So this is going to be quite phenomenal. There's going to be a good matchup over here between the experienced players. Kurtzi goes down the ground, a very solid push of the bat, keeps the ball along the ground, doesn't take any risk, doesn't hit aerially, gets one run, he's off the mark. They'll probably play a very significant supporting role over here to Yadav, who might take on the senior batter's role now. just a matter of time before these two begin to start talking about what is the optimal time for them to start pushing that run rate now. For now, they're probably happy and content taking these singles. Oh, that's a beautiful ball. It's pushed through. Just a little bit more pace on it. Beats the outside edge of Yandre Kurtzi, who tends to go fishing for that one. Probably wanted to steer it down third man, but makes no connection. That's the end of the over. 7 overs gone. Thailand now 22 for 2. Hate to say this, but again, it's not the Nelson, but 22 for 2. Ooh, those are some ominous signs. The other day we saw a wicket fall at 55 for 5. Samad comes back into the attack. Sorry, that's Ibi Takahashi. It's not Abdul Samad. Abdul Samad has been rested after his 1 over, and it'll be Ibi Takahashi now who replaces him at this pavilion. Push it wide outside off stump. Sort of wanting the batter to get out there and maybe mistime it while he was trying to reach for that ball. The batsman just left it out there. This time he goes for the drive and he manages to get 1 run off a shot that doesn't really go too further away. And he comes round the wicket, this time to the left-hander. Kurtzi just plays a very fine paddle sweep over there, and that ball should go for 4. That's 4 runs added to the total. A very well played shot by Yandre Kurtzi. Got on low, got to the pitch of the ball, just his length perfectly, and just a very little delicate paddle over there. Very well placed. In the end, the ball won the race to the fence, was able to beat the fielder by a margin, by a very, very narrow margin. 4 runs to Kurtzi, 4 more runs to Thailand. The tie score now at 27 for 2. This time he brings out the reverse sweep and he bisects those 2 fielders wonderfully, gets another 4 for his effort. Well played, Yandre Kurtzi. He is now taking the attack to the Japanese bowlers. Nine runs have come off 4 deliveries so far. Takahashi has got 2 balls left. We are outside the power play over, so the field is spread out a little bit. A conventional sweep this time, and only a single off it. I don't think Thailand will complain about that, especially as they've managed to get 10 runs of the over so far with 1 more delivery left. Takahashi comes back for 1 more. This time on driven by Yadav. 1 more run added to the total. 33 for 2 runs. 2 wickets. 33 runs, 2 wickets. End of the 8th over. Current run rate at 4.13, required run rate still at 6.17. Abdul Samad has a change in bowling ends. He comes from the far end, beats the batsman comprehensively once again. He's only conceded 1 run of his first over, and now he starts off with a dot ball, continuing his impressive form throughout this series. Well fielded off his own bowling, bowls it straighter and fuller, forcing the batsman to play it straighter too, which enables him to field that ball off his own bowling. Doesn't give them away the run that they would have wanted. Similar result. He's trying to make the batters take some risks and perhaps go for some aerial shots, whether they do that straight down the ground or into the offside. This time around there's an outside edge. One run added to the total, 34 for 2. 4 balls gone, 2 deliveries left in this over. It's been a beautiful, glorious day today. Conditions were a little bit damp this morning, which delayed the start of play. Huge appeal over there for LBW, not given by the umpire. Probably hitting him outside leg, or maybe pitched outside leg. Goes for the reverse sweep, loses his balance, topples over. Another shout for LBW, and again given not out by the umpire. That is the end of the over. A very economical over once again by Abdul Samad, conceding just 1 run from this over. He's now bowled 2 overs for just 2 runs. After 9 overs, Thailand are 34 for 2. They have a mountain to climb now. Asking run rate has gone up to 6.6. They'll need to start taking a few risks now if they are to get to anywhere close to this target. They need 73 runs in 11 overs. They do have 8 wickets in hand. Ravichandran into the attack now from the pavilion end. Comes bustling in, bowls it full, keeps it steady, doesn't give the batters any width or length over there to go for a wild swipe or a slog. Just keeps it neat and tidy. A very repeatable action. Gets his length right most of the times. Gives 1 run this time. Ooh, comes round the wicket to the left-hander and strikes him on the pads. Mild appeal from the keeper behind. This time Kurtzi plays a much more orthodox shot. These spinners are able to get through these overs very quickly as well. They don't waste a lot of time. Reverse sweep there from Kurtzi. Just bounces on top of the keeper. Gets 1 run for his effort. A high risk shot for very low returns this time. You have to be very judicious with the use of your sweeps, especially with your reverse sweeps, because it's so often easy to make a mistake, especially when you don't get your length right, and you can easily get a top edge. This time round, Yadav shapes for a square cut, but misses the ball completely. This over has been completed quicker, a lot quicker than expected. 10 overs gone. So at the halfway mark in this run chase, Thailand are 36 for 2, which is not that different from where Japan were. However, they still have got a long way to go. They need 71 more runs in 10 overs. This is probably their most experienced batting partnership over here, and they've got Austin Lazarus, their skipper, to join in, but apart from that, I don't think they have many reliable batters left in their lineup. So these two need to ensure that they at least make it to the 15th, perhaps even 16th over, and just accumulate runs steadily, occasionally taking the risks and getting the boundaries or manipulating the field as they see fit. Thailand definitely having the better of the conditions this afternoon. The start to the day was a slightly damp one, with the outfield being a little bit wet from the rain yesterday. The delayed start to the match has ensured that it gave the groundsmen enough time to prepare the pitch and the square appropriately. And since then, with the amount of sunshine that we've been having and the breeze that's been blowing, I think that has dried up the damp spots quite significantly. So after that drinks break, the players and the umpires back in their positions, batters making their way to their respective ends. We'll have a little break in the spin bowling continuum. Declan Suzuki McComb comes into the attack. He's warming up at the top of his mark. Usually a very handy bowler. Tends to angle that ball in, that's his natural action. Very whippy sort of action, uses a lot of his shoulder. Starts off with a leg by. Oh, it takes an outside edge this time. That has been fielded, and good collected, good pickup and throw, keeps the batsman restricted to just 2 runs. I mean, a slip in that situation would have been such a game changer. But again, hindsight is wonderful. You often think about these things after a couple of catches go down that region. Not many times in T20s you see a very proactive slip fielder. Suzuki Macomb follows that up with another dot ball. Gets a full toss, hits it hard towards long on, gets 1 run for his efforts. Yadav has been a stabilizing influence. He's been around for 30 deliveries now, has made 15 runs, so he definitely needs to pick up his scoring rate a little bit. It's one thing to be an anchor, but then you don't want to be an anchor at the compromise. And compromise your scoring rate, I suppose, because sometimes that can do more harm than good for the team. Kurtzia comes down the track, presents a full face of the bat as he drives that down towards mid-off. Thailand now 40 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. Whipped it off his legs. Ball's being collected at backward deep square leg. 2 runs added to the total. End of the over. Seven runs coming off that one. Thailand 43 for 2. Yadav batting at 17 of 32 and Kurtzi batting at 12 of 12. We'll have a change in bowling from the pavilion end. Tanyama being introduced into the attack. One of Japan's more experienced leg spinners. The last couple of years have seen him improve his skill set, his consistency. He bowls it on length. The ball just skids in a little bit on the shorter side. Gets picked up in the deep at square leg. Sorry, yeah, it was square leg because Kurtzi was in strike. And they take a single. It'll be interesting to see whether Tanyama mixes his googlies in with his stock leg breaks. Bowls it short, just sits up a little bit on the offside for Yadav, who punches it past extra cover and takes 2 runs. Similar delivery to the previous one, this time Yadav not able to manage it to get it past the fielder. Tanyama ready at the top of his mark. Yadav taking his time, he's contemplating, he's focusing on which are his areas in the field that he wants to hit that. This time he tries to go for a late cut and he gets 1 run. So as Thailand's scoring rate has increased, current run rate is now 4 runs per over. So also has the asking run rate. It has gone up to 7.2. Kurtzi goes in for a sweep. He gets good connection onto that bat. Deep square leg goes round, gets a little bit finer, stops that ball from crossing the boundary and fires a quick throw in. limits the batters to just one run. That is good fielding over there in the deep. This time Akshay slaps it past the field right cover. Sweeper cover picking it up. 1 run added to the total. Thailand now 49 for 2 of 12. They are 59 runs away from what would have been, or what could be, a remarkable victory. They have 8 overs to get those runs in. Ravichandran back into the attack. Suzuki McCombs bowled 1 overs and he has been rested, just as we saw earlier with Sugaya Slater. Japan mostly will rely on their spinners here onwards. Fires that in quickly. This time it has been hit aerial into the air, and a valiant attempt at stopping that delivery has been in vain. The fielder tried his best, couldn't get hand to ball, and that ball has crossed the boundary. We're just waiting on the umpire for the signal to see if that's given a 4 or a 6. The umpire is waiting for confirmation, and it has been given a 6. That's a good hit against what was actually a very bad ball. This is the second 6 of this innings. Yadav taking full toll of that loose delivery from Ravichandran. Now this has also necessitated a swap in fielders. The taller fielder goes to deep mid-wicket. This time it has been hit between the fielders at long on and deep mid-wicket, and Yadav gets 1 more boundary. 10 runs in 2 balls in this over. Is this the time that they choose to hit that accelerator? That is good batting by Yadav over there. He's bided his time, he's played sedately, he's taken a good evaluation of the conditions over here, and now he's hit a 6 and a 4. How does Ravichandran reply? Yadav goes for another slog sweep, avoids the man at mid-on, but finds the fielder in the deep. Just happy with 1 single over there. Thailand are now 60 for the loss of 2. This over has yielded 11 runs so far. All they'll need to be mindful of is not to lose any more wickets, at least for the next 2 to 3 overs. If they can keep scoring like this, they'll be giving Japan a little bit of a scare. Ravichandran fires that one and gets it past the batter's fishing bat. Similar quickish delivery again. This time Curtsey gets bat onto ball. No run. Final delivery of this over coming up. Curtsey goes for the reverse sweep. The bails are broken, and it looks like he's bowled. What a breakthrough. Fantastic time for Japan to get a breakthrough over here. They will be ecstatic. Thailand, on the other hand, will be feeling the pressure now. Some athletic attempt by Shirai Patmore over there to stop the ball from going past him. Probably good football skills, or even hockey goalkeeping skills. Nonetheless, that wasn't necessary, as that ball looks like it came off the edge and got into Curtsey's stumps. Good comeback by Ravichandran in that over. Got hit for a 6 and a boundary at the beginning, and what a nice way to finish that one with a wicket. The skipper, Austin Lazarus, is the new batter. He'll be at the non-strikers end. Yadav will be facing Tanyama. This is probably Thailand's last recognized pair of batters now, like reliable batters. The other ones can bat, but I think these are the more senior, experienced players. Tanyama starts with a dot ball and 1 run off the second. For a while it looked as if the batters might be interested in taking a second one too. Good call over there, good communication between them. Always important to be able to communicate your intent clearly to your partner. We saw an error earlier this morning when Ravichandran was run out. Hit straight down the ground. 1 more run added to the tally. Yadav collects 1 run to his team. Thailand now 61 for 3. Sorry, 60. Yeah, 61 for, maybe 62 for 3. This time towards long off. 1 more run added to the mix. Very steady progress. Current run rate at 4.6. Required run rate at 6.9. This one's going down. Finer. Fielder comes in from the square side. 2 runs added to the mix. Good running there by the batters. Match is in a really interesting sort of junction over here. 1 more run added to the mix. Japanese fielders doing their best to restrict them as best as they can, diving, catching whatever comes that way, getting their run out spot on. They have been a fantastic fielding outfit throughout this tournament. In fact, the ground fielding of all the teams have been wonderful. The Cook Islands and the Thai team have dropped a few catches, but as the tournament has progressed, they have actually improved their game. So at the end of 14 overs, Thailand are now 66 for the loss of 3 wickets. 6 runs have come off that Tanyama over, 4 singles and 1 double. Current run rate 4.7, required run rate is at 6.8. These two have got a big task on their hands in trying to get as close to their target as possible. They will have to play very assertively over here. Samat comes in. Lazarus gets set past point this time. 1 run completed. They return for the second. Sliding stop by the fielder over there, and 2 runs completed in the process. 2 more added to the tally. Another 2 knocked off. Oh, that is so close. Very quick hands behind the stumps. Should I Patmore gathers that cleanly and takes the bails off. Nonetheless, it looks like the batter was in no risk whatsoever. Foot firmly grounded. Another attempted late cut, can't get it past the fielder now. No run. Samad's only conceded 4 runs from 2 overs and 4 balls so far. What's he got in the bank now? Another dot ball, well bowled. He's been very, very economical today. He may not have got any wickets yet, mind you, yet, but he has kept a very tight lid on the scoring rate. And once again, it's the same sort of ball outside off stump, a late dab towards third man, and 1 run completed by Lazarus. That is the end of the over. 69 for 3 of 15 overs. Thailand now need 38 runs. They've got 5 overs remaining. Asking run rate is 7.6. This is now the business end of this final match of this triangular international at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Thailand, having lost their first game of this series, have done very well to beat Cook Islands, overtake them on run rate, and then the rain-affected games yesterday gave each team a point each, but due to their significant margin of defeat versus Japan, the Cook Islands were placed third on the table on net run rate, and therefore Thailand was able to pit them to the post to get to this final today. Oh, that should be close. That is very, very close, but safe. Importantly, from the Thai perspective, batsman's made his ground. Ibi Takahashi now back in the attack. His first over has gone for 11 runs. Courtesy of 2 boundaries that came off the bat of Yandrik Kurtzi at that time. Kurtzi is now back in the hutch. Yadav is joined by Lazarus. Full toss. Hasn't been taken advantage of. A little fumble in the field in the deep, and that has been taken advantage of. Yadav comes back for the second. No sense of urgency showed in the first run. I think they assumed that the fielder would be able to collect that ball and just throw it in pretty quickly, but it turns out there was just that momentary fumble over there. It didn't pick it up cleanly, and the batsman cashed in. This time he just pushes us onto the offside and takes another single. Yadav seems content to be nudging and pushing these around, nurdling them. I don't think he's willing to take any big risks. He's played 2 really good shots of Ravichandran's over, one of which went for a 6, and another lovely on drive that went for 4. Driven straight down, straight into Ibi's hands. Of these 2, Lazarus might be the ones who probably will need to start taking a few risks now. Hits it onto the leg side. Gets 1 run as it's fielded cleanly at deep square leg. That is the end of the over. 74 for the loss of 3 wickets after 16 overs. Run rate now in excess of 8. Required run rate, that is, in excess of 8. Abdul Samad comes in for his final over of this spell. He has been wicketless, but he has only gifted 5 runs of 3 overs. That is something to be very proud of. Japan's outfit's waiting for another breakthrough. They probably would want one to come soon enough. Scoring has not been easier at all, and some would make sure that he's bowled one more dot ball. Here he comes again. Lazarus moves a little bit, shows a little bit of intent, comes down the wicket, chips it in the air, doesn't get it too far across, but manages to get 2 runs, importantly. Those are 2 very, very crucial runs. Especially when your asking run rate is in excess of 8, you might have to get these, take advantage of these little gaps and convert the singles into doubles. So 76 for 3. That's the current score. Thailand still 31 runs adrift. Big shot over there by Lazarus. That goes sailing over the boundary rope past deep mid wicket. That is a big 6 and a very, very important 6 at this juncture of the game. Abdul Samad, who's been really, really tidy and effective so far, bowls a full toss, one of those very rare full tosses that he's bowled all tournament, and Lazarus takes full advantage of that. 6 runs added to their tally. Thailand now 82 for 3, 25 runs away, 3.5 overs that they have to get these ones in. Does Samad strike back? Does he try something different? Keeps it steady and conventional. No run, dot ball, adding to the pressure. They'll have to force the batsman to take some more risks now. Asking run rate is about 7.2. This time he drives it past a diving extra cover. Gets picked up in the deep. 1 more run added. Takes the score to 85 for 3. 83 for 3. Dot ball to end this over. A very good spell by Abdul Samad. 4 overs, none for 14. He's done a wonderful job for his team in restricting the flow of these runs. Who can step up for Japan now to get a few wickets over here? Ravichandran returns. He's already picked up 2 wickets. He's conceded 21 runs of his 3 overs. He'll want to add to that tally of 2 wickets now. And he'll want to turn this game into Japan's favor. Thailand need 24 in 3, which is gettable by modern T20 standards. However, as we have seen, this is not a very easy pitch to play on, and especially if you're playing spin and you're not using your feet to get to the pitch of the ball and sort of hit it in the gaps. It's going to be really difficult. Ravichandran to Lazarus, who plays from the crease once again. Just pats it back to the bowler, who's happy to pick it up. I don't think Ravichandran will mind giving away dot balls. Now Lazarus comes down the ground, hoiks it towards backward square leg, gets 2 runs. Pressure on both sides now, although Japan might be, in a slightly comfortable position over here, given that they are on top of the runs. They're not giving away too many. Thailand will want to keep pushing because they've got no other option. They've got 7 wickets in hand, but they're fast running out of overs now. They need 21 runs in 2.2 overs. Bowled him! Bowled him! What a breakthrough. This is the breakthrough that Japan have wanted, and Ravichandran provides them with that breakthrough. He gets rid of Yadav, who has played very well for his 37 of 45 deliveries. May have left it a little bit too late to push that accelerator, and in trying to force that scoring rate, he has lost his wicket and has done so at a very important time in this match. This was when Thailand probably didn't want to lose a wicket, especially when you're well set. When you have played 45 deliveries and you're within 2 overs of finishing the match, there's expectation usually on senior players or experienced players is that you see through that match. You don't throw your wicket away. But it was the need of the hour. He had to take risks. It wasn't easy getting the ball off the square. Something had to be done, so he had to manufacture that shot, and in doing so has lost his stumps. Sabarish now, 3 wickets, 3 for 24. One more ball left in his spell. Can he get one more? Can he put this match firmly in Japan's favor now? Lofted straight down the ground, cut off by the fielder coming in from long on. 1 run added to the total. That is the end of the over. Thailand are now 87 for 4. And I think with the departure of Akshay Yadav, we've probably seen Thailand's victory chances diminish significantly over here. They do have Lazarus still playing. However, they need 20 runs in 2 overs now. The new batter, Mukesh Thakur, will be the one on strike, having taken a single of his first delivery in the previous over. He will be facing Hara Hinds, who comes back for his final over. Hara Hinds, like Abdul Samad, has gone wicketless so far, but has only conceded 7 runs in 3 overs. That again is wonderful bowling when you consider that 3 of his overs were in the power play. Who bowls it, gets it to turn into the batter, doesn't give him much room at all. Bowled a bit slightly quicker than he normally does. Thakur hurried for pace over there, managed to get bat on ball, gets it onto the offside, but not in the gap. Dot ball. Another seemingly dot ball, but Shirai Patmore, in his rush to gather that and take the bails off, has completely missed that. Runs given by the umpire, so there may have been a bit of a bottom edge, which makes it even more difficult for the keeper to collect that. This brings Lazarus on strike now. He'll have to play a captain's innings now from here on. He's batting at 21 of 22, which is already very good. (19 runs needed in 10 balls. Required run rate at 11.4. We see the field being changed a little bit. Deep mid wicket goes back. Fielder comes into the circle at 45 behind square on the leg side. Lazarus goes big. He goes high and mighty, and he gets 6 for his effort. Exactly what the Thailand team would have wanted from him, and exactly what he would have wanted at this stage. He is now the senior player. He gets a ball that just sits up. It wasn't exactly short, but it just sits up, and he gets into position so quickly, pounces on that, and hits it high and long over mid-wicket, and he gets 6 for his efforts. That's a wonderful shot. He now moves up to 27. Thailand now 94 for 4. Lazarus hits this towards the offside. No runs, go straight into the hands of extra cover. 8 deliveries left in this game, 13 runs to get. This is so tense. Edge of the seat stuff. Comes down the track, gets it into the gap, gets 1 run. Mukesh Thakur now comes on to strike. He doesn't need to try anything fancy. All he has to do is probably get 1 or 2. This is the last ball of this over. He goes big. He goes big. Does he get to the fielder? Oh, the fielder managed to save it. Wonderful fielding effort. The batsmen take 2. That is a great fielding effort over there in the deep. It looks like it was Shoma Sugaya Slater using his height for all of his advantage. Mukesh Thakur has his hands on his head. He thought he might have got a 6 for his effort. And what an effort that was. He hit that ball with considerable amount of power, but unfortunately for him, he got Japan's tallest fielder in that area. Terrific scenes, everybody, terrific scenes. The umpire is just confirming certain things. They want to make sure that Shoma Sugaya Slater hadn't touched the boundary rope as he managed to get hands onto that ball. I mean, of course, we don't have the benefit of the third umpire and camera replays over here. They'll only have to check with whatever evidence is available to them from anyone standing or sitting close to that side. So, the brace of runs means that Lazarus is now on strike. Thailand are 97 for 4. They need 10 runs in 1 over. The dilemma facing Kadawaki Fleming over here is, should he keep his field spread out and does risk perhaps a couple of runs every delivery, or does he bring his field back in and risk a boundary in case the batters try to go for aerial shots? Very, very interesting juncture of the game. Edge of the seat stuff, truly. This is going to be a tight finish over here. Whoever wins, definitely a tight finish. Battle of the nerves. Whoever is able to maintain that calm head on their shoulders will emerge victorious. We'll have pace from this end. Sugaya Slater bangs it in short. Lazarus hits it straight down the ground. Won't get a boundary for his effort, but he definitely gets 2 runs. 8 runs needed of 5 deliveries now. And Lazarus is exactly the man Thailand need on strike. And with the extra pace that you get from a seam bowler, it'll be much more easier for him to use that to his advantage. Oh, he gets it in, he gets an inside edge, misses the stumps, it misses the keepers, and that goes for a boundary. Wonderful. Oh my God, what scenes are we witnessing over here? The Thai camp is absolutely ecstatic. Everybody applauding that. Hands on head for the Japanese fielders. Sugaya Slater induces a false shot from Lazarus, but unfortunately for him, the inside edge not only missed the stumps, but it also evaded the keeper. And to add, what shall we say? Oh my God. Lazarus gives himself room, just pats it back onto the offside, steers it towards gully, and gets 1 run. Three deliveries left. Thailand need 2 runs for a tie and 3 for a victory. Kadawaki Fleming has a chat with his bowler. He is marshalling his field. I don't think he wants Mukesh Thakur to get a big hit over here. He'll need protection around the boundary in case he connects. But at the same time, he'll want to keep Mukesh Thakur on strike for as long as possible. Long on now comes into the circle. So we have a gully, we have a cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. Mukesh Thakur just tries to tabble it over there, and Lazarus hairs down the pitch. He scampers for a quick single, gets back on strike. The target for them now is 2 runs in 2 balls. 1 run to tie, 2 runs for a memorable victory. And what a victory it will be if and when they get there. I don't think anybody gave Thailand any chance at the beginning of this tournament. Japan are usually very good on their own home turf in their own conditions. In comes Sugayas later again, second last delivery. Lazarus goes up on the full. That's flicked, smashed square cut, and that goes for a boundary. That is a victory. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Thailand have snatched this victory from complete nowhere. They were down and almost out. They had a tall order. At one stage, the asking run rate was 12 runs per over, and this pair of Lazarus and Mukesh Kumar has done have shown their tenacity, their courage, their self-confidence and belief. And as I mentioned earlier, their coach had been quite bullish earlier about their chances of a victory versus Japan. And my word, haven't they done it with some degree of flourish. Hats off for the Thai team for securing a memorable victory over here. 39 of 29 deliveries. He was ably supported by Akshay Yadav, who scored 37 of 46 earlier in the innings. And when he got out, I thought that was it. Thailand's probably run chase was being snuffed out. But Austin hung around. He batted really well. He played judicious shots. And he was ably supported by Mukesh Thakur at the other end. This is a fantastic victory for Thailand. Commiserations to Japan, who I'm sure, no doubt, will bounce back. They have a lot to look forward to. They will be facing the Cook Islands for a 2-match bilateral series in the coming days, and thereafter their next assignment is likely to be the World Cup qualifiers in Oman later this year. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It has been an absolute privilege to call this series and help the JCA with their broadcast, which has been live and free of cost to everybody via YouTube. Thank you to all the patrons and supporters. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Thank you for the sponsors and the team partners, MKI and Mizuno, and all the members of the Japan Supporters Club. The presentations will be done shortly. We will see you then. I will be signing off from comms now, and hopefully we will see you in a couple of days' time when Japan face Cook Islander for the first match of their bilateral series. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye-bye.